And strong.
Why are you breaking shit again?
Oh, thank you. Everybody's pissed off. Like, he's not black, he's yellow. That's okay. So, I wanted to, he's right about the drinks, though, because I ordered a shot of Beam on the rocks. He gave me a full glass with one ice cube. I want to talk about my son. I was thinking about I was going through my pictures. I saw my son's birth, and it reminded me of that wonderful day. It was a beautiful day when my son was born. For me, anyway, not so much for my wife. I don't think she had problems. There's a lot of screaming, some expletives, a few choice words about my mother. I remember that very clearly. But I was in the delivery room, and I found out now, when you're pregnant, you can have sex all the way up to the day of delivery. They do frown upon it in the delivery room, though. They don't like that. Yeah. That's what I say. But yeah. But it was wonderful. My son was born. I watched it. I got to cut the cord, which was weird because I was standing there, with a glass of vodka, and I was like, cut the cord. He's like, hey, would you like to cut the cord? I said, all right. So I pulled out my knife, and he said, no. We have scissors for that, sir. We have, okay. So, and I said, well, hold my drink, So the doctor's standing there with his blood-covered scrubs and a scalpel in one hand and drink in the other, looking like Jack the Ripper after the crime. And I cut the cord, and it was nice, and I took the baby home. That was fun, Slept with one eye open the rest of the week, And it wasn't because I was worried about my son. It was my wife went through a lot of pain, and I was scared, basically. So, and then we moved here when we had our kids. We moved here to Minnesota. And when I first moved to Minnesota, I didn't know that there were black people. I didn't know. I thought it was, really, I thought it was just Prince and Kirby Puckett. That's all I thought was here. And Kirby Puckett dies. I was worried because me and Prince together, we only make a whole black person. So I was scared, But my first month here, I had to go to the ER. And it was a weird experience for me because it was nice. It was beautiful. It was quiet. I was at the Regent's Hospital in St. Paul. It was quiet. It was elevator music playing. People having polite conversations. New magazines. I'd never seen new magazines in the hospital. And, I'm from Chicago, man. The ER is different. Okay, it's different. It's like people with knife wounds and bullet wounds, and one guy suffered from third-degree burns sitting on the couch, still on fire. They put him out. They put him out. Out of the building because you can't smoke in the hospital. You can't. What was weird was I was at the hospital because I had bursitis. Anybody know what bursitis is? It's basically you hurt your bursa sac, which is a little part of your elbow, and so pitchers get it. You bang your elbow, you do a lot of pitching, And I was worried because when I got there, the first thing I said to the doctor was, does it have anything to do with masturbation? Because I wasn't willing to cut down. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, habits to support. I'm telling you. So I found out that wasn't the problem, So my wife thought it was funny though. She was, when you get bursitis, that's an old person disease. That sounds like an old man's disease. So when I came out from the doctor, my kids sitting there with my wife. My wife went to the bathroom. I told the kids I had to get my arm cut off. My wife came back still laughing. Kids crying, telling her she's a bad mommy, they hate her. It was funny to me. I don't give a shit. I'm scarring my children. I think I am. I think I scarred my son. My son is militant. He's 13. He'll be 13 this year, and he's militant. He's a little light-skinned black kid with an afro. He looks like Michael from Good Times, And in third grade, he did a poem. They had poems for all the kids in third grade in school. And my son, his poem of choice was, "The revolution would not be televised." The look on these white people's faces, when he got to the part where it would not be about white commercials and white people and white powder, the teachers was like, what the fuck? What the? And the little Hmong kids in the background said, yeah! Started an uprising. Last year, he had a fifth grade field trip, and they went to a little schoolhouse in Minnesota. And it's supposed to be the oldest schoolhouse in Minnesota. And they were telling my son about all this stuff. And my son said, when was this schoolhouse open? And he said it was open in the 1800s. You know? And he said a lot of black kids and white kids. My son, no, it wasn't a lot of black kids in this school in the 1800s. And the teacher was like, no, there was. I said, no, there were slaves then. I know this. There were slaves. And so the teacher said, well, you know what? Some white people, nice white people, acquired. No, they had some white kids and they raised white kids and black kids too. And my son said, well, what did these nice white people acquire these black children? Because the adoption agency wasn't set up yet. How did that happen? And they sent them in the corner. Didn't want to talk to them anymore. So what tripped me out was they called me up to the school the next day. And said, I got to talk to my son. I said, well, what's the problem? And they told me the whole story. I said, wait, let me get this straight. You pissed off at my son because he won't let you lie to him in his school, in his classmates? I'm sorry, I can't do that. Come on, son, let's go to the movies or something. Fuck that. There's no punishment with me this time. He got in a fight one time. I had to get him out of that. His kids was bullying him. Okay, they've been bullying him for weeks. They've been bullying my son. I told him, I said, look, you know what? The next time you go to school, somebody bother you, beat the shit out of them. Make sure it's in the lunchroom or the playground so everybody can see it. So they know you ain't the one to fuck with. That makes sense to me. The next day, I'm in the principal's office. He's like, your son beat up this kid in school, and he's really proud of himself. And I said, well, they've been bullying him. He said, sir, we have a zero tolerance for violence. I said, but they've been hitting him, and nobody's doing anything. Sir, we can't just have your son fighting people. I said, listen, sir, if I smack the shit out of you right now, are you going to call the police, or do we have a problem? He said, well, we're going to have a problem. I said, then he's not suspended. Shit. What's cool is that's a good guy. We've been good friends ever since. That's when you can't have your kids grow up on different rules. You can't do that, you know. That's like the kids can't play dodgeball in school anymore. That's bullshit. When you get to go to 18, you got to go to war, and you can't play dodgeball in school. Something ain't right. You can't have pussies going to war. That ain't right. When you play dodgeball, the kid that ran away from the ball, he's not in the army. He's not there. It's the one that was hitting his ass in the face with the ball. He's in the army. So how are we going to choose who go to the army now if we can't play dodgeball? That's all I'm saying. How much time I got? Because I ain't...
You got half a minute.
Half a minute? That's not much time at all. All right, let's see. You know what? I want to tell you about one of my bucket lists. And my first main thing that I want to see before I die, I would like to see a blind midget with a Pomeranian CNI dog. That would make my day. Because I like things at scale, you know? Thank you guys for watching Big Wheel. Woo!